Today I will do another look at my E-Flite Trojan T28. So it's the yellow 1.1 version, and I know that there is actually just a 1.2 version with flaps and retracts, but I think this is just a sweet flying RC plane. It's also really inexpensive compared to the larger version also. And I think yellow is just a great color for orientation. I've done just a few modifications on this RC plane. So first off, I replaced the wheels. So these are softer rubber wheels, and I think they look better. And I also think that these will just make a little bit of a smoother landing as well. And then there's kind of a stupid thing I think on some E-Flite RC planes. And you're supposed to use like tape to hold the rear stabilizer, and it works. But when you remove the tape, if you disassemble the RC plane, you will actually just scrape the paint off. So instead I put 2 screws on each side, just really hold, just tiny screws, so this won't influence CG in any way. And speaking of CG, I think this RC plane is a little bit pitch sensitive, and you have to actually just trim down the elevator just a tad to have it flying level. So it might be that this one is a little bit tail heavy. I think it flies great, but you really have to just to adjust the elevator just down a little bit. But that's the only thing really. Other than that, I think it just flies super straight and easy. So I mean, let's go outside and fly this lovely T28. Let's start off doing some inverted flying. You can tell very much about an RC plane when you do fly them inverted, if they handle more or less like you fly in normal style. It just keeps on handling without any issues. You know it is a good flying RC plane, and this T28 is just fantastic. You have so many things you can do with it, and still I think it's really gentle and easy to fly. And I haven't increased throw on my T28, but you surely just can do it to have it even more agile. So I'm doing this flight on 100% rate with 30% expo, which is my base setting for almost all my RC airplanes. You can also just do some crazy flying, just push this plane, just jank the sticks. It doesn't really get squirrely in any maneuver. So if I was then would compare this Trojan to the Arrows 1.1 Trojan T28, which is more featured than this one because it does feature flaps and retracts. But this E-Flite version then, it's so much better when you fly this. You don't have to worry about anything. So just as long as you know where you have the RC plane and which way you're headed, I think just pull the sticks and do whatever you like. It's a really forgiving RC plane. You might ask yourself, now why should I even consider like a difficult to fly RC plane? And that's exactly the question I'm asking myself. Why should I bother with more complicated RC plane or RC plane that does have bad flying abilities? Then I think you surely will have a much more great enjoyable time just to pick something like this Trojan. Of course you can learn a thing or two when you have more difficult RC airplanes, but honestly most of the time I just want to have a good flying experience. There's only one weakness of this RC airplane, I would say, and it's the landing gears. They're not too great, so I don't like the two touch and goes with this RC airplane, especially when the grass is longer. But other than that, just fantastic. Goes together really easy. It's a really lightweight RC airplane, so with 4S battery inside, like this 2200 milliamp Spektrum battery, it's just super agile and speedy. Although it's not as speedy as many of the 1.2 warbirds like the E-Flite 51, B51 or the Corsair or the P39. And I even suspect, I haven't really tried the 1.2 E-Flite Trojan, but I would suspect that it's also more speedy and agile than this RC airplane. But this is so forgiving and really worry-free flight. And this was my second copy, so the first one I did actually crash 3 times because, I mean, the first time I flew it into a pole, the second time I had a wasp just about to fly into my mouth, so I just had to get it off my face and I lost control of the RC airplane. And the third time I was doing a low pass and I misjudged the distance to the ground, and well, let's say that parts were flying all over the place. Let's get this one down then. Usually very easy. As you can see, I think this RC airplane is just a fantastic, easygoing RC airplane. You can go really speedy and do lots of aerobatics. I think that, I mean, even without flaps, it does slow down really well. There's really no nasty stall tendency to it. So the problem I have with this one, I'm just pushing it too much. And I've done it a few times and I just flew into objects and I also hit the ground. So all the pieces of this RC airplane just flew all over the place. So I had to purchase this P&P version and just do another one because I really like this RC airplane, and I think it looks great. I mean, it's just an uncomplicated T28, great visibility, great size, great flying, and honestly, if you just compare them to the larger 1.2, of course it's cooler with flaps, with retracts, and it looks better when you just put the gears in the body. When you fly it, but I mean, just for an easygoing, uncomplicated, problem-free flight, I would surely just pick this T28 1.1 meter.